Magandang hapon po, Malacanang Press Corps. Kasama po natin ngayong hapon si Press Secretary Atty. Trixie Cruz-Angeles, Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office General Manager Mel Robles, at PhilHealth Spokesperson Dr. Shirley Gigi Domingo. Good afternoon, Sec.
Magandang tanghali, Malacanang Press Corps. Dalawang mahalagang ahensya sa pagbangon natin galing sa pandemya, Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office at saka ang PhilHealth. May mahalaga po silang announcement ngayong araw na ito, makakatulong dito sa ating economic recovery. Boss Mel?
Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. Today, the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office is going to remit its share to the national government, national treasury in fact, and which will give the PhilHealth more funds to support the universal health care law. This is just the first among the remittances that we will do, because under the law, 40% of our charity fund will have to go to the universal health care.
Magkano po yan, Boss Mel?
By the way, I forgot the most important thing. It's 2.5 billion. 2.5 billion pesos to help finance the universal health care. And yeah, this is over and above the taxes that we pay. So apart from the taxes that we give to the Department of Finance, we still have to give this the charity fund, from our charity fund, 2.5 billion.
Ilan ang taxes? May idea kayo, Boss Mel, ilan ang taxes na binabayaran? Pero you have income, you have VAT,
Yeah.
and
We have all the taxes, including documentary taxes. Yeah.
So, on top of that, meron tayong more than 2 billion na nire-remit sa universal healthcare through PhilHealth. Madam?
Yes, thank you very much for inviting us here. In behalf of our OIC President, Atty. Eli Santos, who is now in Congress for a budget hearing, we are very happy to be the recipient of these funds from PCSO. We have lined up several benefits for the use of these funds. These funds will be transmitted to the Treasury and will be remitted to PhilHealth through a national subsidy for benefit improvement. So it's a different subsidy from the usual GIA subsidy to PhilHealth for the premiums of indirect contributors. This fund is specifically for benefit improvement and will not in any way be used for any admin expense. So we're very happy that we will be receiving these funds because it will translate to better financial protection of all our members. Thank you.
May katanungan po ba kayo sa ating dalawang ahensya?
Eden Santos, Net 25.
Hello. Ayun. Good afternoon po. Sa PhilHealth po, yun po bang 2.5 billion pesos ay gagamitin doon sa mga hindi pa nababayarang mga COVID expenses po ng mga pasyente way back before pa?
Hindi po. As we said, the funds from PCSO will be a special fund in the coffers of PhilHealth, and it will be used only specifically for benefit improvement. And in fact, we'll be coming out with a medium-term expenditure plan for these funds from PAGCOR and PCSO, with, of course, with the coordination and approval also of the two agencies.
Ano po mga benefits ito na pagkakagastusan po ng 2.5 billion pesos?
Some of them are review of our existing case rate para mapataas ang case rate at mas ma-improve yung ating support value. Doon rin sa ating dialysis para ma-increase ang sessions ng dialysis for our dialysis patients. Meron rin tayo mga orthopedic benefits that's planned for that. And our Z benefits or yung catastrophic benefits namin, i-review po rin natin yon and try to increase the support value also of these conditions. These conditions were identified because most of the assistance that PCSO were giving were in the area of these benefits. And therefore, we agreed to look at all these case rates and Z benefits for
So, hindi-
use of that fund.
So hindi po kasama ang COVID, ano dito, yung mga COVID patients, ganyan.
We are paying for COVID benefits through our existing funds.
Thank you po.
Salamat din po.
Next question, Ms. Evelyn Quiroz.
For GM Robles, first time po itong 2.5 billion na remittance nyo since umupo po kayo sa PCSO.
Yeah, this is the first time under my watch.
So ito po ba yung 2.5 is part of the remittance po ng mga STL operators, yung mga franchise holders natin sa buong Pilipinas?
Yes, combined na ito with the Lotto and STL funds. We have a charity fund. Meron kasing allocation from the gross income. You have about 35% to charity, and from there, 40% of that goes to the universal health care law.
So ito pong fund na ito, since na-mention nyo from STL operations, meron po ba kayong report na natanggap na may mga STL franchise holders po na hindi pa nakakapag-operate sa bansa?
Oh yeah, meron. Meron yan. It's a normal occurrences.
So ano po yung direktiba dito ng PCSO para kasi po kung legal po yung franchise holder sila, makakapag-operate po sila at the same time, ma-remit po nila yung inaasahan nating remittance.
Medyo mahabang kwento lang. No? But the short and long of it, if you apply for a STL franchise, you give a feasibility study, and we presume that the applicant can operate. So you, upon given the permit to operate, we will give you a certain number of days for you to operate and remit. Pag hindi, then it shows na hindi ka ready and you're not qualified to be an agent. Actually, we call them agents.
Thank you, sir.
Next question, Vance Fernandez, please tonight.
Being in the PCSO, sir, have you looked on this mga illegal STL or mga huweteng na illegal under your watch now?
Yeah, but I will answer this, but if you could direct also your questions sana on the assistance, because this is really, but I will answer this, yes. We have it is a fact that we have a lot of illegal operations, and we're doing our best to contain them, because yes, they directly affect our contribution to the universal health care. But rest assured, we are working, because we don't have police powers, but we are using a lot of persuasion and legal moves to curtail the operations of the illegal weteng. Among them, yung bukis, merong peryahan ng bayan, the lot. Alam niyo naman sa Pilipinas, kahit basketball, tinatayaan eh. So there is a proliferation, and we are doing our best to have this prevented, para naman yung the legal STL, which is paying who are paying their taxes, and in fact contributing to the coffers of the PhilHealth, can operate and proliferate.
Sir, on another issue, sabi niyo yung mga assistance, have you looked on this, yung mga medical assistance and financial assistance you have given? Mga ilan na po to? How much?
I don't have the figures now, but I will tell you they have been reduced dramatically because of the imposition of, for example, doc stamps. Just for in context, prior to 2019, our budget for charity is 9 billion. No? Now, our budget for the whole year is only 900 million. So it has dropped dramatically. It is now 1/10, including what we give. No? Kaya yung tiran lang sa akin for charity is less than 1 billion.
Sir, may mga nagrereklamo, sir, sa mga online kasi they're asking for some medical assistance. Pwede silang, let's say, pumunta personal sa inyong office?
Yeah, they can email me because right now talagang dinidiscourage natin yung face-to-face, yung pila, and then they can complain. And yes, they have a lot of reason to complain because we used to give as high as 200,000, even 500,000 during the times na wala pa kaming taxes. Now, you'll be lucky to get 50,000, 20 to 50 yung maximum.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
No more questions?
Relevant questions, please.
Topel Pelayo of DWI.
Sir, nabanggit po ninyo na 900 billion na lang po, million yung fund na lang po for charity. Bakit po bumaba, sir, from 9 billion?
Well, as I've said, we have the taxes that weren't there before, no? Yung documentary stamps, VAT, no? We have the earmarking, malasakit, also the universal healthcare law, although they're the same, pareho naman ang ginagawa nila. Yung mga like National Book Development Board, things that have nothing to do with our mandate, naka-automatic earmarking po sa amin yun. May sports din. So, we're working on it though, para yung wala namang relationship po sa charity ay matanggal, no? Because ang laki ho na nawawala na sa amin for the taxes that we pay. So, not only do we give charity, we also are a revenue generation for the government.
Okay, thank you. And now we will proceed to the handing over of the 2.5 billion check of PCAO to PhilHealth.
Sana may manalo ng ganito.
Tayo sa harap para kita.
Taas na lang? Hindi makita. Sige, taas na lang. Sorry.
Pwede bang copy lang? Okay.
Okay. Thank you po, PCSO General Manager Mel Robles at sa ating pong PhilHealth spokesperson, Dr. Shirley Gigi Domingo. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we will proceed to Press Secretary Trixie Angeles for some announcements. Secretary?
Yes po. Wala akong salamin. Magandang tanghali uli. Happy birthday kay boss. Bukas na. Okay. Naglabas po tayo today ng Executive Order number 3. Allowing voluntary wearing of face masks in outdoor settings and reiterating the continued implementation of minimum public health standards during the state of public health emergency relating to the COVID-19 pandemic. So ito na po yung ina-announce ng DOH ng voluntary wearing of face masks outdoors in non-crowded places, provided kung kayo ay immunocompromised, seniors, or hindi kumpleto ang bakuna, kailangan pa rin po mag-face mask or strongly encouraged ang face masks. Okay, basahin ko na lang po precisely yung provision. The voluntary wearing of face masks in open spaces and non-crowded outdoor areas with good ventilation is hereby allowed, provided that not fully vaccinated individuals, senior citizens, and immunocompromised individuals are highly encouraged to wear their masks, and physical distancing will be observed at all times. So meron pa rin tayong physical distancing. Face masks shall continue to be worn in indoor, private, or public establishments, including in public transportation, by land, air, or sea, and in outdoor settings where physical distancing cannot be maintained. Tuloy pa rin po ang other minimum public health standards intended to effectively prevent and minimize the spread of COVID-19 in the country. It shall continue to be implemented consistent with the principles of shared accountability, evidence-based decision-making, socio-economic equity, and rights-based approach. In this regard, the DOH is directed to update the MPHS guidelines with the issuance of this order. Okay. In addition to that, we're happy to announce that we are 6% away from the wall of immunity. That's why we're malakas na ang loob natin for face masks. Now, congruent to that as well, the state of calamity is extended for possibly 3 months, but only for the purpose of preserving the benefits under it, such as, but not limited to, the indemnification, hold on, para mas precise tayo. Okay, here we go. Indemnification, emergency procurement, special risk allowance for healthcare workers. We will transition out of the state of calamity after further review. Okay. So, good news all around. Okay, on the next topic, nagkaroon tayo ng cabinet meeting today, and we discussed primarily food security. We're identifying the factors that hinder our food security, and several agencies were there to report, among them the DOTR, NEDA, of course the Department of Agriculture, the DILG, and among others. So those that were identified for possible policy review and legislation are the barriers to efficient transportation, red tape, yung permit systems natin to make it more efficient, also the crossing of boundaries between LGUs. In addition to which, we're also looking at a review of policy and possible legislation to balance importation with local production and to address the issues of over and underproduction. So all the departments made their reports today. There are quite many overlaps. So all departments will be working together on the policy review, assessment review, and proposals. Okay, questions?
Maricela Lili, TV5.
Hi,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am. Magandang hapon po. Ma'am, just a clarification on the face mask EO. When will it be implemented?
It's immediately. Hold on, let me just get you the precise term. This order shall take effect immediately upon its publication in the OG or newspaper of general circulation. Nasa OG na po siya.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, what made the President approve the recommendation for the voluntary wearing of face mask?
He had imposed a condition, and one of that is the establishment of the wall of immunity. Since we are 6% away from that, then it's time. So we're doing this in stages, in phases, so that we also don't, so that we can have feedback on whether or not these new policies are working and how to make them more efficient so that hopefully, by the end of the year, we might be able to have, to be voluntarily masked indoors as well.
Last na lang po, naging consideration din po ba yung Burr months na kasi baka mamaya mas dumami yung mga taong nasa labas?
That's why we're doing this in stages. We'll need the feedback. If the voluntary masks outdoors is going to contribute to something, then of course the policy will again be reviewed.
Questions? Go ahead. Ay, Mike.
Secretary, kasi merong conditions na sinet yung EO, there should be good ventilation. So,
Yes.
who will set the standards? Who determines what is a good ventilation? Meron bang mga ganong mga rules na iseset?
We assume so because there is some discretion of the local governments to establish minimum standards for the imposition. However, in general, what does good ventilation mean? May opportunities, for instance, na crowded. So even if it is outdoors, hindi good ventilation yon, and you're in each other's faces. So without the possibility of social distancing, then this would be considered also as part of not of the requirement. Kasi yung requirement, there must be, it shouldn't be too crowded. So there are also instances now you would consider outdoors. What do we consider as outdoors? In some instances, you consider outdoors, okay lang roof, pero walang walls. Okay. In other instances, some people place the, like for example, under the no smoking law, in some instances, pagka sinabi mong outdoors, kailangan walang bubong. So it will be determined, normally things like these are determined by the local government kasi sila po ang enforcement in these instances.
So the local governments will play a key role in implementing this executive order, especially yung standard sa mga spaces na gano'n.
That's usually the case. Even in the in all of the laws or legislation that we created pursuant to COVID, it was always the local government that has set the standards, except for those benefits that were given by the national agencies.
Pero do you see the need for a unified standard? Kasi baka mamaya yung sa isang lugar,
I agree.
yung outdoor nila iba. So, do you
That's
think
why,
kailangan po ng national government na
Well,
mag-set
let's
sila
see
ng
how it
iisa?
works. Diba? That's the reason we're doing it in phases, so that we have a feedback mechanism. We continue to listen to the people, what the needs are, and particularly also to understand that local needs also differ. So we have to balance the creation of a uniform standard with the needs of the locals.
Salamat, Sec.
Thank you, Ace. Next, Pia Gutierrez, ABS-CBN.
Ay ma'am, can we clarify dun sa EO? Kasi nabanggit po ni Yusek Vergere kanina doon sa Congress that they agreed to make masking to be optional only for those who are non-vulnerable.
That's what it says here. Who are vulnerable? Senior citizens, immunocompromised, those with no complete immunization.
So ibig sabihin ma'am, it's still mandatory for them to wear masks outdoors?
The executive order says highly encouraged. So it will be, well, that's what it says there. So I think we may have to work that out with the USEC.
Thank you po.
Eden.
Ma'am, regarding lang po dun sa UN General Assembly na dadalhan ni PBBM this September, ano na po yung ginagawang paghahanda ng Pangulo regarding this? And syempre tomorrow ay birthday po niya. Meron bang plano ang ating Pangulo for his birthday?
I-announce po namin later on. With regard to the trip, there will be a special briefing for that one. Possibly, I think Thursday, no? Before we leave. So, as for his birthday celebration, syempre mahirap mag-discuss.
Kahit yung meron bang party, ano special gathering po dito sa Malacanang?
I have no instructions to announce anything. Kayo naman. Minsan sensitive yung mga ganyan. No, wait, let's just clarify. Baka may mag-ano na naman sa akin. No, I have no information as to whether or not there's going to be a birthday celebration. However, we can safely assume that the president is going to market. That's the official statement. Going to market. Remember it. It's like, okay, when I have a birthday, yay, happy birthday to me. Sometimes we have, we have cake. Right? So how it's going to be celebrated will be a matter to announce at a later date.
Okay, Ana Felicia of GMA News Online.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Hi, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Reaction lang po ng Palace regarding the call of Human Rights Watch for UNHRC member states to adopt a strong resolution kasi they express concern po na EJK still continue under the Marcos administration. Any comment lang po from Palace?
None. No comment, no reaction.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, Kat Domingo, ABS-CBN.
Ma'am, on the cabinet meeting, were there specific crops or kinds of meat or fish that the government will prioritize?
We're looking at food security in general. So of course, while there's certain certain crops that were discussed, such as but not limited to rice, we're looking at things that cross what kind of crops we're looking at. It's not just even crops. We talked about pork, we talked about fish, rice, vegetables in general. So there are several proposals, many of which we'll be happy to announce at a later date once we have all of the details. But the recognition of the problem is step one, as well as the proposals by our various cabinet officials regarding policy review and legislation. So these are what we're going to set, either if it's for legislation, priority legislation, and if we're going to look at policies that do not require legislation, we're going to do that immediately. We just need all of the various agencies just need to work out the standards between themselves.
Okay, last question from Dennis Hamito, Bombo Radio.
Hi, ma'am. May nakaschedule po ba na courtesy call yung si Miss Alex Iala after winning the US Open Youth kay President BBM? May coordination na po ba?
Wala pa po tayong information on that. She's not a resident. So we have to, if there was an opportunity, I'm sure the President would love to have her over. But let's see. We don't have any details or if she even has time. So let's find out first.
Okay.
Sec?
Sec, follow-up lang daw.
Sorry,
sa Ivan
follow-up
Merina.
po dun sa question ni Kat. May progress report po ba ang Cabinet Secretary specifically from the officials of the DA tungkol dun sa ilang mga bagay na, ilang mga crops or products na may kakulangan tayo previously? Sugar, white onions, salt, for example. Meron po ba tayong, are we making progress in those particular areas?
Well, the DA has never been remiss in bringing out the information. You really should check out their website. Tuloy-tuloy yung pagbibigay nila on those ongoing programs. Today's cabinet meeting was primarily to address the issues of the efficiency of our, for instance, transport of food, getting from the farm to the market, balancing our imports with local production, and so on. So in relation to very particular crops such as, but not limited to, sugar, these are already, we have constant updates from the DA. So we just need to check out their website. Magaling yung spokes nila.
Okay, maraming salamat po. Press Secretary Attorney Trixie Cruz-Angeles. Maraming salamat, Malacanang Press Corps.
Gusto.